Hi, this is Ken Block. You're watching Online Pre-Roll. Well, I'm up here in Quebec to race a rally called Rally Défi. This is my second time being at this particular rally. So anyway, I have always wanted to come back and race this rally. I really enjoy coming up and racing these Canadian events, and you have a lot of great rally drivers here in Canada, so I enjoy coming up here and racing. Every time that we come to an area like this, we try and do, a special autograph signing or event, or take care of some fans in some way. I really appreciate all the support that I have from all the fans around the world, so I always try and reach out in one way or another to do something special or different for them. So we did two things in the last day special for the fans. One was to be able to do that event down in Montreal for the fans that maybe would not be coming up to the event here at St. Agathe this weekend. So we stopped by at the Empire Skate Shop there in Montreal. And DC and Monster and Empire set up a very good autograph signing for me. Had a little car show in the front of their shop. It was great. Very, very nice shop. Empire does a great job with the retail, and they do a great job selling DC up here. So it was really good to be able to stop in there, do about an hour and a half worth of autograph signing, and be able to take care of the Montreal fans. On top of that, we did a little Twitter contest with our Twitter account for someone to come up today during my test and take a ride. So that was very cool. We just did a very simple sort of retweet type contest. Had a guy named Maxine come up and take a ride. So it was very good. We always enjoy interacting with the fans, like I said, in these various different parts of the world that we go into, and it's very cool when we have seat time like today for a fan to be able to hop in and get an experience that they wouldn't be able to otherwise have. Well, I think that there's a big combination of fans that come out for me, that there are a lot of dedicated rally fans. We know that here in Quebec there are a lot of fans just for the sport of rally itself. So I think that we see a lot of those fans come out at an event like that. On top of that, I think I have a huge fan base just because of the Gymkhana videos and the other videos that we do. It's something that I see around the world, that we have a very core fan base that knows and understands rally and what I do with the World Rally Championship and all that. But then we have this other side too that's very much based in the interest that we've seen online with the Gymkhana videos. So it's very cool. I'm glad that we've been able to expose our sport and what we do with these cars to a much broader audience than just the core rally fan. Well, the funny thing for me is that I grew up skateboarding and snowboarding and riding dirt bikes and all that, but realized in my early 20s that I was not good enough to ever be pro. But I loved the sport so much that I wanted to be involved, and so that's when I got in business with Damon Way, and we started Drawers and Dub and 8-Ball and eventually DC. So it was always that dream of being a pro, but never actually being able to do it, and then going into the business field. But now I've actually gone backwards and gone back to actually becoming a pro again, which is quite odd. It usually doesn't happen that way, but it's just something that I absolutely loved rally since I was a little kid, so this is all really a dream come true to come out and be able to race these types of cars. So it's kind of a unique experience that I've been in the business world and had a very successful career there, and now I've been able to take all that experience and become an athlete, but actually do the business side of the athlete the best that I possibly can, because I understand both sides. When we deal with different situations of talking to sponsors or what DC needs, or being able to show up to an autograph signing and be able to set that type of stuff up, I kind of know it from all angles, and I'm trying to do it the best that I can do it. So it makes it an easy situation for me to be able to make the sponsors happy, know a lot of what the fans and the kids want, and try and deliver that to them, and and all that actually equates to me being able to go out and enjoy the car even more. So it's really been quite a fun situation, but it was really awkward for me in the beginning because I'd always been the guy behind the scenes, and I liked being behind the scenes and letting Danny Way and Colin McKay and all those guys be the guys in front. So it took me a while to actually get used to doing this type of stuff. But now I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy interacting with the fans and doing what I love to do. So it's been an amazing experience. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world that I've kind of done both. Yeah, well, for us, we've always been very focused on authenticity, and you can't do that and market it without the authentic best guys that you can get, to represent yourselves. So it was obviously fairly successful. DC, continues to grow every year. But on top of that too, as in the past 10 to 20 years, we've also moved more into social media. The more authentic and more of those sort of real brand athletes that you can have, those are the guys that are out there actually making your content for you every day. So it's really a great way nowadays where you need to have sort of all these different multi-layers of marketing and exposure. It's just a great simple way to keep that going in a consistent way, as opposed to only making an ad for these guys, once a year, twice a year. You have a constant foray into all these media with their exposure. There isn't necessarily a magic formula for how you pick each one of these athletes nowadays, especially with social media and some of these guys having to do it themselves with Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all that. Sometimes it's a combination, but it's sort of a new world out there as far as social media goes, and we try and help as much as we can, and also, as a company, try and continue to push and get more and more exposure as we can too, to help those guys along and help expose their Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts, that type of thing. I genuinely feel that there actually is a thing, a technique to making a viral video. So, most viral videos come from two ways. They either come from someone who randomly caught something and then put it onto the internet in such a way that it would become viral, or someone that's used sort of that type of formula, something that would attract attention, and then they package it in a certain way and put it on the internet also. So it's a difficult question, but I feel like, there's definitely examples of people like myself with the Gymkhana stuff where we've actively gone after and tried to push something in a particular way. And now that we actually have this machine sort of going and people know it, we're actually able to activate that when we really want to and make a big push to try and make another viral push. So there are techniques to it. It's definitely not easy, and it's changing every day. The techniques that we used 3 or 4 years ago actually don't necessarily work anymore today. So it's amazing to actually kind of watch this transition of like 20 to 30 years ago, where the internet really meant nothing, today where companies are dropping mainstream advertising and trying to figure out how to make viral videos. It's really quite interesting and sort of amusing at the same time to watch people, struggle and some of them succeed at it. Well, I think the biggest thing is every time that we approach doing something like that, we look at, the landscape of what's happening out there and try and be creative in that space, do something different, or base things even based on feedback of what people out in the industry or what our fans are saying. It's amazing how much you actually have to listen nowadays and pay attention to what's happening. Otherwise you can make easy mistakes going wrong directions. But really, it's always a guess. I just did this video in San Francisco. I'd actually tried doing that video in several different places, and we sort of luckily ended up in San Francisco. But really, it sort of was a dream come true for me to be able to go drive there. But at the end of the day, it was sort of a set of things happening where I ended up there. It wasn't the ideal position in the first place, and that's just the way it goes. You can attempt, and I've been very lucky. We've produced 5 Gymkhana videos now, and we haven't really had any of them be a failure. Every single one of them has at least 20 million views, and that's incredible, So at some point I'm gonna have a failure. That's just the reality of it. But until we do, I'll do my best to keep it going. I have a marketing background. Like, I've won awards for things I've done marketing wise, so I really enjoy the marketing side of things. Like, the creativity is very difficult but very fun at the same time, and be able to mix that sort of creativity with what I like to do with a car it's actually an amazing experience. There's a lot of pressure nowadays, now that I've done 4 or 5 videos, like every time, shit, I gotta make the next one better. It's not an easy thing to try and do, but I really love it. There's just stuff inside my head that I've wanted to do with a car, with various situations, and to be able to go out and have a city like San Francisco let me do whatever I want. Basically, it's like a dream, you know, and it's almost such a crazy dream that sometimes it's hard to rein in and really figure out specifically what I want to do and how it needs to go together in the video and tell a story. But that's the fun of it. So I have a great team of people behind me that help, but at the end of the day, like, I determine what I'm going to do with the car, where I'm going to do it, the storyline, how everything goes together in an order. But I have this great team of guys not only close to me that help me kind of navigate exactly what we're going to do, but also we've had some great people that we've worked with production side that have helped make this happen. So we have a company called Logan that has done the last 2 videos. So we actually know them because they did the opening title work for a friend of mine's movie, Zombieland. So all the opening title work was done by this company. So we hired them because Gymkhana 4 was kind of a wild special effect type video, and they were the great target for that production wise. And they just ended up being really, really good people, great to work with. And so they worked so well, we hired them back for Gymkhana 5. So it's great to work with just such good quality people like that, and the productions that we do with this, you know, really have such a high acknowledgement, like in the market, you know, out there with people competing to do viral videos, that we've had people beg us to produce some of these videos. But it's been very cool to work with guys like Logan that are just such great production companies that have really helped enhance what we're trying to do as a message with motorsports. Well, the crazy thing for me is, like, you know, when I started doing this motorsport thing, it was just sort of a fun side project, and I went out to race with Travis Pastrana to just do something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, because I've been a fan of rally since I was a kid. And Travis Pastrana started racing, you know, in the States in the championship, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna go try and race with him just for the fun of it. And I ended up doing pretty good. I actually beat him the first year that we raced together, and I got Rookie of the Year in the championship. And, you know, it just, from there, like, from him and I competing, you know, DC started then making shoes for us, and eventually started making the team gear. And it started off quite kind of slow and kind of a bit odd for DC, because, you know, DC was so focused on skateboarding and snowboarding, all that. Well, as things went along, the products started just selling more and more and more. And as the Gymkhana videos started to come out, our sales department was just blown away by the amount of t-shirts and hats and hoodies and that type of thing we were selling at, you know, places like PacSun. And I mean, we sold hundreds of thousands, you know, every year, which is, it just blows me away, seriously, that we've been able to take something, especially with so many logos, you know, this motorsport theme type stuff we didn't think would sell in those locations, but it just sort of shows with the right messaging and the right story and the right, you know, authentic marketing, that it's the things you can accomplish in the modern day of social media. So it's something I'm quite proud of. It's been really fun, you know, and it's been a nice mix of being able to tell the story of what I like to do with the car and put it together with great production and great messaging like DC has. And we've just been so happy with the success. It's been amazing.